I will make sure the sound also share tab video. Yes. There we go. Oop, hold on.
Whoopsies. Hello. Big summer blowout.
Don't do that. I'm going to have to cut all that out. Whatever that was. All right. So we're going to watch this this video from Louis Rossmann.
Okay.
Where he's discussing Hyundai and their fine automobiles.
They're a premium specimen of automobiles. I mean, really high quality product.
Now, the guy who wrote this letter to Louis, I already know is a highly intelligent human being because he bought a Hyundai. And he didn't just buy a Hyundai. he bought an EV Hyundai. That's how you know. That's how you know.
I don't know. I think the EVs are catching on fire less than their gas vehicles, so maybe it was.
At least there's no engine to lock up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. We're never going to get sponsored by Hyundai of America.
I don't think there's much of a chance of that in the first place.
You know who's going to show up at our door one day?
Who?
Ford. Ford is going to show up.
Say the IRS, but
No. Yeah. No, the IRS doesn't sponsor podcasts. Ford is going to show up. Can you imagine? That would be hilarious.
That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome.
If I'm going to get audited by anybody, I prefer to get audited by the IRS. Let me tell you. Anyway.
The FOMO Co.
FOMO Co is going to show up with a giant pile of money. And they're like, hey, take back all the things you said.
Please.
And depending on how much they give me, I will do it. I will do it.
I won't sell out for money. That's a lot of money.
You think I'm a man of principle. I am to a certain dollar amount. Once I hit that dollar amount, it's whatever.
David leaves with the shirt that says $20 is $20.
$20 is $20.
He's on his chin.
No. No, this is, what are you doing here? We're supposed to keep this professional here.
That was professional. I mean, I thought
All right. Let's watch this. Let's watch this slop. Ready?
We take the trust of our listeners very seriously, and I hope that you know that when I say that Shop-Ware is the best automotive shop management system, I believe it in my heart of hearts, and now it's even better. With new features like Tech App, it streamlines the inspection and dispatching process for you and your technicians. And with massive improvements to Shop-Ware's exclusive digital vehicle experience, they have stepped their game up to a whole new level. So if you haven't scheduled a demo yet, click the link in the show notes and do it today. If you've already had a demo and you were waiting to finally switch, there has never been a better time. So click that link and get started today.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So there's a back and forth that we have here on the channel where I'll bring something up and somebody will say, Louis, don't give them any ideas. And one of the things that I've used when I'm talking about right to repair is I'll say something when they talk about safety and security. I'll say that for the last 100 years, you could easily replace the brake pads on your 6,000 pound truck in your driveway, and you could drive this vehicle that's 6,000 pounds down the road at 40 to 90 miles an hour. And that's totally illegal in the United States of America. Yet then they try to turn around and talk as if being able to fix something that's going wrong with your phone or your laptop, that's the end of the world when it comes to safety. And I try to use this analogy a lot. And one of the things that I've said is that this demonstrates the shift in times. I strongly believe that if motor vehicles came out in the year 2025, that you really would not be able to do a brake repair in your garage or in your driveway anymore, that would not be legal because we had a different standard when it came to safety versus freedom 50 or 100 years ago than we do now. And unfortunately, the times have caught up with that whole Louis, don't give them any ideas thing. This is not something I've gone over on video yet because I wasn't able to get as much verification as I wanted that this was a true story. However, Hyundai has responded to this particular instance, and because they've responded to it with their statement, I'm going to take them at face value that they believe their statement and that they would say what it is that would paint them in the best light possible. Let's take a look at this. I own a Hyundai 2025 Ioniq 5N. Like other cars I own, I do my own maintenance when possible. Many states in the USA enshrine the right to repair despite automakers and dealer attempts to block this. Apparently, Hyundai, Genesis, Kia is intent on trying to weasel out of this. This all started when I tried to to replace the brake pads on my car. Everyone needs brake pads. It's a basic wear item. The only way for non-dealers to replace the brake pads is to use Hyundai's special Windows-based J2534 diagnostic tool software. That costs $60 a week, plus you need to buy one of their approved J2534 adapters, the cheapest of which costs about $2,000. It also requires a permanent connection to authenticate and operate to the internet. So in order to replace...
And that right there should tell you why that brake job is like $1,000. Why is the brake job $1,000 and not $199 like it is down the street? It's like, well, I don't know. I have to buy a $2,000 piece of or adapter, right? And I got to have a constant internet connection, and I got to buy the software, and I've got to have all that kept up. And on top of all that, I have to have technicians that know what the F they're doing. Right?
Yep, because it's not as simple as just changing the brake pads anymore. And, here's the thing. When we look at this and we take this into account, I'm not necessarily saying good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. The reality is just figuring out what software you need, figuring out how to obtain that software. There is time associated with that. And so if I'm not going to specialize and all I'm going to work on is Hyundai and Kia, right, I might not have that tool rip-roaring and ready to go. Now, yeah, aftermarket tools will do it. But still, yeah, I mean, you look at this and you think about, what does this do? Well, we've been talking about the industry needs more regulation. I don't know, man. What do you think, David? Is this the regulation that we needed? Is this going to force the hand?
I don't mind any of this. This is all good. All of this is good so far. Because here's the flaw in his premise. The flaw in his premise, he said it at the beginning. For 100 years... we've been able to slap brake pads on our 6,000-pound truck that goes 40 to 90 miles an hour down the road, and there haven't been any problems with that. And that is 100% true. What has changed? The cars are not the same. That's the problem. The cars are not the same. This isn't a 1996 Ford F-150. That's the difference.
Do you believe that the consumers asked for this through all these technological
Yes, they bought the
advances
ship
in
boxes. They bought the ship boxes. They voted with their dollars.
Yeah.
Because if they knew, if they just did like 2 seconds of research and said, hey, can I just ask the guy, I like to do all my own maintenance. Can I do the maintenance on this vehicle myself? And the guy goes, no, you got to bring it to the dealer, or you got to take it to an authorized shop that has software A, B, and C, and this adapter, and has a constant internet connection, has been trained on this vehicle, yada, yada, yada. He would have stopped and went, oh, well, I don't want that car then. Can you show me the 2014 Kia Rio? And then he would have bought the Kia Rio, and that would have been fine. But instead he didn't. He was like, oh, I'm getting a good deal on this Ioniq. Well, and I'm going to assume that it's all the same. It's not. They haven't been. They haven't been for, 10 years?
There's no truth in advertising anymore, and there's no truth in salesmanship anymore. I've watched.
Yeah, that's why it's caveat emptor. Like you have to, the consumer, have to do your due diligence. You're not doing your due diligence. You're going, hey, I'm getting 0% APR. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't disagree with you, and I think I've heard so many salespeople. I went through something where there was a manager involved, and I heard some of the things they said, and they're like, hey, look, man, I don't care. I'm just here to sell cars. Like I don't give two hoots about the consumer. The only thing I care about is leaving this relationship or leaving this scenario with more money in my wallet than they left with. Now, I know not everybody's like that, but the dealerships breed that type of environment, and because they breed that type of environment, it's all about selling the car. It's all about getting the sale. Like as a consumer, if you aren't informed, you're walking into a disaster. Right? Because how many years have we made fun of third owner European vehicle owners? Right?
Yeah.
Because they just don't understand. I got a bad review from one recently, and he's like, I just don't understand how this BMW, it's a creme de la creme 2014 325i. It's a wonderful car, and I don't understand how they think it needs all this work. And they said it needed a valve. Yeah. It needed a valve cover, and it needed, and it's like
an oil pan and
turbos. The oil cooler's leaking, or the oil filter adapter's leaking, and he's just like, I just don't understand why. Well, because you didn't do research on what you were buying before you bought it. That doesn't make it my problem all of a sudden.
But now everybody's the third European car owner or whatever.
Yeah, because they buy a car like this.
Because they're all they're walking into these dealerships thinking they're buying something brand new. But it's the same thing as my 2015. It's not. It's not at all. And that's the flaw in his argument here. Let's finish
your brake
this up.
pads, you will need a connection to the internet and to be able to connect to their servers. And if their servers go down, well, it's not like your car's designed to last forever, now is it?
They never go down.
Never had that
and why they don't
problem.
become obvious. Shortly, I broke down and bought the subscription and special adapter. Guess what? It didn't work. The software just gives error codes. Hyundai has no contact information on their website where they gouge you for the software and service manual subscriptions. With a bit of luck, I was able to find the telephone number of the USA company that develops the J2534 diagnostic tool. It turns out that the Hyundai dealers don't use this piece of junk software. Dealers have a completely different software that runs on an Android tablet.
Yep.
Despite the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5N being for sale for 18 months, the Windows software is not updated to work with current models. Their functionality is reserved for dealers and their dealer-only software. The software developers remotely collected a bunch of diagnostic information from my PC and vehicle, and a month later, there was a new version of the Windows software that I had to pay for again. The software developers remotely collected a bunch of diagnostic information from my PC and vehicle, and a month later, there was a new version of Windows software that I had to pay for again. When I tried to run this new version of the software, it prompted me for an NASTF login. If you are not familiar with this, an NASTF login is a security mechanism required for registered.
Okay. Welcome to our life, I guess. Right? Like, this is just every day.
I love it. I love it. They think it's absurd. This is just daily life.
And look, here's where we're going to get in trouble with this one is because everybody gets so upset about NASTF. I'm curious. We've never talked about this. I actually talked to George about this a while back. And George has been pretty open about his past and talked about the fact that, hey, I've got a felony and I went to prison for a felony.
Yeah.
And I regret that greatly. But the conversation when NASTF came up amongst something else that was going on, we were talking about the high school and talking about, if we're going to be engaged and do things with the high school, they have to do background checks, things like that. Mm-hmm. And George said, I understand that my choices in the past have consequences. And I understand that because I'm a felon, there's consequences associated with making those decisions. There's a lot of guys who are really upset about the NASTF thing. Now, my thoughts and belief on the NASTF thing. I think that them saying this is about theft is completely absurd. I think
that's BS.
I think it's BS.
Total BS. Yeah.
I think that what they're trying to do is ensure that we have access, but I believe that the manufacturers genuinely want to talk about it from the security aspect because that's what gets buy-in in Washington. But I talked to George about this and I said, well, how would you feel? You're a shop owner, you're a technician, and you need this authority or this authorization to do a service on an automobile. And you can't do that because you're a felon. And George says, look, man, he's like, I've been a felon for all these years now. I'm telling you, for me, that's just life. I made a decision. There's a consequence associated with the decision I made. And it sucks. And I don't like it. But all these other people are so upset, dude. They are like beating the doors down because NASTF says I'm a felon and I can't work on vehicles anymore. Well, sorry. I mean, I guess maybe you should have made better decisions. I don't know. What do you think?
This ways around it. Just hire a third party. I don't have a problem with it. It's not. Are they actually making the vehicles more secure? No, they're not. You can get that little doodad that can spam the car for key codes until the
tighter you lock them down, the quicker they're going to come up with a end around. They're just going to go around you.
Equipment, that you can steal whatever the hell you want. So are they really making the car secure? No, they're not making the car secure. And then 99% of the time, people are leaving their cars unlocked and keys are inside the car, and they wonder why it got jacked.
Weren't we in a meeting one time and the secret service that was there? And that's what they said. They said 70% of car thefts, the key was in the center console.
Yeah. It's just the stupidest thing in the world. But they have to at least make it look like they're doing something.
Yeah.
But for me, I would prefer that they lock these things down to the nth degree and make it really difficult for even shops to get access to. Because I guarantee you, I don't know, maybe 40, 50, 60% of shops are not equipped or trained to do things properly And even if they had like, oh, I've got the insurance and I've got this amount of classwork and this, that, and the other, it's like, okay, all your technicians at least are abiding by a specific philosophy to do things properly, to make sure that this car doesn't like veer off and crash into a family of 4 and kill them because you decided that, hey, I put that little sensor back exactly the way I took it off. I don't have to recalibrate the car. Just stupid things like that, right?
Yeah,
they're not
sure.
doing what they're supposed to be doing, even in the quote unquote good shops. So the more barriers you can put up, I'm all for it. And I especially enjoy reading this guy's frustration just trying to work on his shipbox himself. I really like this because it
You're a
at
little
least
evil.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the problem, and this is the problem with Lewis. He assumes everybody isn't a moron. Okay.
Yeah.
He really does. He just,
and he's a
thinks the best
very
of
smart
people,
man. Yeah.
super smart guy, super successful. He assumes everybody isn't a moron. I, however, know everybody's a moron. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not a moron. I am a moron. The difference between my stupidity and everybody else's stupidity is that I know I don't know certain things, right?
Yeah. Yep,
and
absolutely.
I have to make a decision then. Am I going to learn what I need to learn to do this proficiently, or is this just not worth my time?
Yep.
And so I go, I'm going to leave it to the professionals. That's what I do. I go, I'm not going to learn how to do this. I have no interest in it. I don't care that I'm going to save some money on it. Who the flip cares, right?
Yeah.
Just go make more money. I leave it to the professionals. I don't work on my own car. I leave it to the professionals. I drop my car off at my shop and I go, hey, it's doing this, fix it. And they fix the car. Why? Because that's what they do. That's what they're professionals, right? Leave it to the professionals. He thinks everybody's just smart enough to be able to figure this stuff out on. They're not. Everybody's a moron. The Hyundai has to also operate off the premise that everybody's a moron too. And so they have to put lots of barriers up to keep the morons from working on their shitbox cars, because they know if this guy doesn't tighten his bolt down, if this guy doesn't install the correct brake pads, if this guy doesn't calibrate things properly, this car is not going to do what it's supposed to do. And this braking system is not the same as the 2014 Kia Rio. It's not.
Yeah.
The brakes pulse on and off to slough off the rust, right? The brake pads don't even do anything. The car's stopping with regenerative braking most of the time.
Do you remember?
On top of having electronic parking brake assembly, that's not even that's the simplest function of all this nonsense.
Was it Ratchet and Wrench Management Conference in Dallas when Mark Allen was there and they had a speaker that didn't show up and they put Mark Allen on the stage, or was that ETI? Do you remember?
I think that was ETI. The Audi guy.
Yeah, so he stood up and he was like, I'm just telling you, like, it doesn't matter why the car killed someone. It's still my name on the front of the car.
Yeah.
It's still my fault. And it doesn't matter that you were the last one to work on it. They're coming after me too, even though I didn't have anything to do with it. And so if the consumer's the one who's working on it, who is the insurance company going after? Of course they're going after the manufacturer. Right? Like, that's
He's got
just
the
what
deepest
happens.
pockets.
Yeah. And so it's like, I can understand from a business standpoint. Now, I will say this. The clarity and the access and the usability of some of these products, like this product we're talking about right here, and we've talked to the guys from Hyundai and Kia about this, especially when it comes to the pass-through, because it's a giant pain in the butt. It should at least work. It should at least make sense. You should know what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You should know how much it's going to cost. The thing that I do here at the shop, right? We don't keep a subscription for everything. We keep IDS, we keep GM, things that we use on a daily basis. We keep those here all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But like ISTA, if I can't do what I need to do with our other tools in the shop, and ISTA's pretty cheap, but like it's easy enough to go get a subscription for a day or 2 days or a week or whatever it is, and utilize that. It's a better value for our consumer. It's a better value for us, right? Because we don't just work on those. But some of these, like I'll go to program something. Was it Chrysler that changed a while back? And it was like, okay, now it's this much. Oh, and by the way, we forgot to tell you, you had to pay for this too. well, how do I know that?
Yeah, they start stacking up the fees.
Yeah.
Because you
How
got
do
to
I know
pay
that?
this fee, and then this fee, then this fee. The price went up. It doubled. Chrysler did. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so it's not clear and easy for me to see and understand and navigate so I can build an effective estimate so I can know that I got the right piece of software. Do you know how much money I've wasted on buying a software, getting into it, and it turns out, oh, this software doesn't work for that.
Yeah.
I'll call support and I'll call other people and say like, hey, where did it say that? Where did it tell me this doesn't? Oh, it doesn't tell anywhere. You just have to figure it out. Wait a minute. I wasted $400. Yeah, sorry. Right? Like that.
Yeah, some standardization would be good. But you know, at the end of the day, though, the more barriers to throw up, the better.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree about that.
There should be standardization, at least for shops.
What do you say to the shop or to the consumer who says, yeah, but it's almost like that technician argument when you'll say things from time to time. I don't know if you saw that Flat Rate podcast guy got all upset about you saying, I'm not saying thank you. Your paycheck says thank you. And I think that he was very nice about it, right? Like he was. He was very nice about it, and he brought up some valid points. But I will say that I think that as a business owner, you have a very different perspective. As someone who's had to slough it and like really work to get where you're at, as somebody who's had to go through this, like you understand nobody's coming to save you. And I think what he missed in it is you weren't saying like, hey, I'm not saying thank you because I don't care and I don't appreciate you. You're saying you shouldn't do it for me to say thank you. That shouldn't be your motivating factor. It shouldn't be what makes you feel good about yourself. Because nobody's effing coming to save you. You're responsible for yourself. And in life, there's going to be times that nobody's saying thank you. But you still have the effing responsibility to get up and do it. And I can't remember exactly where I was going with that. I got completely off topic. But
you know who I blame?
Who?
I blame Simon Sinek for that thank you nonsense. He started all that BS.
I don't mind saying thank you to my people. I don't mind that. Do you mind saying thank you?
Every week, they got to thank you.
But I mean, no, I'm just saying dollars. It's not, I guess my thing is it's not that.
Where's my thank you?
I say,
hey, thank you for paying me this week, even though you were struggling. Yeah, thanks. No problem.
I didn't take a paycheck this week, but don't worry, you got one. I didn't take the paycheck, but I made sure you got paid. You're welcome. No, I never get a flippin' thank you. Instead I get you don't appreciate us. Big babies. Look, I will tell you that my team says thank you all the time, and I say thank you to them, and I think they do a really good job, and they believe in what we're doing and why we do it. And I think that is key for me. Like, I do appreciate what they're doing, so I'm not afraid to say thank you. That doesn't bother me. I just, I don't know.
I'm not saying I don't say thank you to my staff. I do, but it's the philosophy behind it. You see, like it's like just the approach. Like, do you really need me to thank you? Like, it's nice to say thank you and stuff. Yeah, like you appreciate what they do, but at the end of the day, like, just
we don't do
get
things.
The job done. Like,
we don't do things for someone to say thank you. We do things. You remember Jeremy Hoyam's episode just came out.
Yeah.
Right. And came out a couple days ago. And he brings it up in that episode, but we had been at dinner one night and he said, you don't know how upsetting it is to me when somebody looks at me and says, yeah, but that's not my job. And he said, because like, you don't understand where I've been. I've jumped out of airplanes. I've swept mess halls. I've cleaned toilets. I've been up here. I've been down here. I was managing a giant facility and got knocked all the way down to where like I'm a peon and starting all over again. And I recognize I'm doing that for me and my family, for the betterment of my family, not for somebody to say thank you. I have a duty. I have a responsibility to accomplish this thing.
Yeah. And
it's bigger than me as a human being, right? Mm-hmm. I think we've lost that sense of duty in the States today.
100%. Yeah, 100%. All right,
and it back to the NASTIF thing, like it's an attitude thing. I deserve this, right? We made a video the other day talking about the fact that, or I think it was Royalty Auto talking about the right to repair and how important it is. I agree it's important. We're not asking for this for free, right? Don't get this mixed up. Right to repair should not indicate you get free data and free access to automobiles. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
But somebody has to pay for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I was drinking my drink.
Locksmith to program new keys to a car. Well, apparently this very month, October 2025, NASTF has started a special program for Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia. Of course, it is for businesses, not for individuals. Have a look for yourself. This is madness. We're talking about brake pads. The car is great, but Hyundai's treatment of its customers and attempts to force dealer visits are borderline criminal. Now, there was not a lot of independent verification of this, which is why I had not jumped on the story the way that I usually would. However, because of what Hyundai has said recently, it gives me much more context to work with, and this is I'll read you what Hyundai said in response. This is from thedrive.com. Hyundai spoke to them. Hyundai is committed to supporting both our dealer network and independent repair facilities with safe, secure, and accessible service solutions. For vehicles equipped with electronic parking brakes, including the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 5N, the official repair procedure requires placing the rear calipers in service mode using either a global diagnostic system or the J2534 application. This ensures proper functionality and customer safety. Hyundai recently expanded access through an update to our J2534 application, enabling aftermarket users to perform functions previously restricted by the GDS Secure Gateway. While authentication through NASTF is required for sensitive operations, this step helps maintain security and accountability. Our official dealer tool is also available for purchase by anyone. Hyundai is actively exploring ways to make routine maintenance easier for all customers while upholding safety standards. We appreciate the interest in do-it-yourself repairs and will continue working towards solutions that balance convenience with security. Now, there are going to be people in the comment section here and on many different websites that are going to say that this makes sense. This is fine. Why are you complaining about this? Lewis, don't you care about security? It's a car. And a car could roll down a hill. What if the brakes don't work? I think the thing that's important to point to here is that we have 100 years of history that demonstrates that you do not need a calibration or pairing tool in order to replace the brake pads and calipers on a car.
You do now.
Okay, so, well, yeah, there he conflated the two. Yeah, it is a security thing, and then you don't want the car rolling down the hill and killing somebody. Those two things are not the same thing. And yeah, for 100 years, you just slapped some brake pads on a car, called it good. For 100 years.
Yeah.
And then people started buying shit boxes, and they got stupider and stupider and stupider. Now the flipping cars drive themselves. Have they been able to drive themselves for 100 years? No! Not only do they drive themselves, they stop, they turn, they can preemptively stop the car when they think, hey, you're not hitting the brake pedal hard enough. I need to stop the car before I hit something because you're not paying attention. The cars can do that now. That Ioniq does. And the guy doesn't know what the hell he's working on.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know what the hell he's working on. So
he doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand why it has to be done. I think it's asking for it. Do I think that some of this was designed so most shops and DIYers couldn't work on their own car? Yes, I do. I think that some of this complexity was put in place. It is our brake
I don't think
system,
so. I don't
security
100%.
system.
If it would have been cheaper to not add this added complexity, they would have just made it cheaper. They put the complexity in there because they're like, hey, what is the cheapest minimum threshold that we need to hit to ensure that the car doesn't kill somebody and that we don't get sued?
Let me ask you something, though. If that was the case, why would a brake system be behind a security protocol like this, behind a gateway that was designed to prevent theft? Oh, well, it's because we set the parking brake automatically, and as a result, if you were able to turn it off,
the car can still get jacked. We talked about that. It's nothing to do with security. That's my whole
point of saying it, right?
It doesn't.
It has
security
nothing
is
to do with security.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with security. They need to put the shit in there to keep yahoos from working on their shit boxes that don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't even think
this is a liability.
I think they're trying to corner the market. I think that they're saying, "Hey, but what do the technicians that work in dealerships have to say about those organizations?" Right? They have no connection. Like the dealer principal rarely has any understanding of what the technicians in the bay goes through. Right? They don't care what the technician in the bay goes through. It doesn't matter to them what the technician in the bay goes through. All they see is that technician. What was it, Jeff? He said it last night. Jeff and I were talking on the phone, and he said, I can tell you the two numbers that I've been recognized as the entire time I've been in the automotive field because that was my two numbers at the dealer. I was either this number or this number. And that's all they saw me as, was a number. They don't care about what it takes to do the work. And the C-suite doesn't either, right? They're developing and implementing these things because they want to make more money, in my opinion. And I think what they do when they look at this is they say, hey, look, we could pick up this extra 70% of service work that's going outside. Maybe we pick up extra 50% of that because all of a sudden all these shops can't service our cars. They got to come to us for even basic repairs. They don't think about the fact they don't have the capability to service them all. They don't have the technicians to service them all. What are they going to do? They're going to load the base full because they don't care. All that matters is they make the money. Right? They're completely disconnected from anybody being involved as a human being and the impacts it has on them. And so I don't think that they look at the human aspect of this. I don't think they care about who gets to work on what or why they should or shouldn't. All they want is part of that 70% that's serviced in the independent aftermarket.
I think you're wrong.
I probably am. I usually am.
The reason is they don't have enough people to service all the cars. And then all of these cars are
I don't think they care about that. I think
they don't have enough people.
They're like, we're going to fill the bays and we'll figure it out later.
No. You think that, but there's a breaking point. There's a breaking point where they're like, hey, customers are now having to wait 6 months to get their cars back. Okay, well, that's unsustainable because they're just not going to buy another Hyundai or Ford or whatever, right? True. They're just not going to buy another one of my ship boxes. And then that becomes a problem. So the customer experience on the back end is an issue that they need to at least resolve to a certain point. Do they necessarily care like what the technician has to go through? No. I think they're putting these barriers up strictly for liability purposes. We put this behind this wall. They said it in the statement for accountability purposes. We know who logged in. We know what the hell they did after they logged in. And therefore, when the car veers off and then kills a family of 4, we know who to sue.
Yeah.
It's not our fault.
Very
we
true.
did what we were supposed to do. Person XYZ with this login logged in and they touched the car.
Listen, I don't think it's a bad thing. Do I think it's frustrating right now? I do, because of the complexities of obtaining the software and the variabilities of it.
Lack of standardization.
Yeah, that's really frustrating. Do I think it's a good thing? Yes, I do think it's a good thing.
But I don't think it's that they're trying to corner the market. If maybe Hyundai, because up until this point, what was it, like 5 or 6 years ago, you couldn't even get Hyundai anything. Yeah. You couldn't program.
Which
they could program 2 modules or whatever, and then that's it. Like there was like no access to Hyundai anything.
They were one of the first in those recalls who considered bringing independent repair facilities in to do recalls for them. And so they were one of the first that did that. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
This should be something that is doable without having to connect to the internet, without having to buy a $2,000 little connecting interface, and without having to pay for their proprietary software. The technology hasn't changed. We're not talking about doing something.
He's wrong. That's the problem. He's wrong. He just doesn't know. The technology has changed. It has wildly changed. It's not even close to the same thing. It is a completely different system. Oh, this is so frustrating.
To calibrate the regenerative braking or setting the PID loop of an electric vehicle. This is an electric vehicle, but we're talking about the, for lack of a better way to put it, because I have finished my lunch yet, analog brake calipers. We're not talking about any sort of, we're talking about just old-fashioned mechanical braking, right?
No, we're not.
We have a large body of...
I mean, to a certain degree, yeah. I mean, is it using hydraulic pressure to push the brake pad onto the rotor? Yeah, it is. But how it's doing it is no longer strictly hydraulic. It's no longer just mechanical. Just push the pedal and it pushes a little plunger and the fluid moves. It doesn't do any of that anymore. Hell, how many of these flipping cars don't even have a connection anymore? Like you hit the brake pedal and it's now it's a fucking sensor now, and it's telling a computer, and now the computer takes over everything. Like that's how it is now. So you can't just assume. He's making assumptions. That's what's wild about this. Like, dude, he should have brought on a mechanic, just a mechanic that was in the know, or a shop owner or somebody
that was
like,
aware.
Let me ask you this. Why would they do this? And then they would have explained to them, because if everybody was working on their own cars on these complex vehicles now without the proper training and the equipment and the tooling, and to make sure that things, just simple things like hey, do they know what bolts cannot be reused? Just that.
Yep.
They don't know because they're not looking up service information. And they're not
But
paying
you know
attention
what's
to
gonna
service
happen,
information.
right? You know what's going to happen?
Technicians are not paying attention to service information.
That's what I was
and they
getting
do
ready
it
to
every
say.
single day.
That's what I was getting ready to say. The technicians still don't know. The technicians aren't necessarily doing it right either.
So you can imagine how much less of a job a DIYer is going to do.
Yeah.
And that's why they're putting all this stuff up. It's not the same job. These aren't the same systems. They're completely different. That's why they're doing all this. That's why they're doing all this. And it's not through altruism. This isn't like, hey, we're just trying to keep you safe. No, it is strictly because we don't want to get sued into oblivion. So we can prevent that by just putting up just one paywall or a gateway or just something in the way to keep you from touching the damn thing.
Yep.
History that demonstrates
100%.
that we don't have thousands of cases every single day of cars just taking off and falling down hills and everything else when people replace.
Oh, I don't know. Ask Toyota.
We like
The
Toyota,
fuck?
David.
Did we
They're
forget
our
about
friends.
that? Did we forget about that? Like the floor mats were causing the cars to veer off, and then here's the thing. This is why I say everybody's a moron. Every single car, the braking system can overwhelm the throttle.
Yeah.
The car will stop. The car will stop. Just slam on the brakes and hold it down. And then people will still.
With proper modifications, it will not, but I'm just.
Well,
I get
okay.
that's a variable that is.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe if you're one of them people, like 2,000 horsepower stock braking.
Sounds like a plan to me.
their brake calipers because they didn't use the proper software. And the reason this is really important is because you may have seen this bombastic ad campaign that's been going on all over Washington, D.C. I was in Washington, D.C., and I went for a run last week while I was there, and I managed to see some of these trucks. These trucks are everywhere. Gamers Nexus did a great job of recording them, and they have messages like the stuff that you see on the screen over here where they're talking about how people in China are going to get access to your data. And I think the really important thing, it's actually one of the best upvoted, most top upvoted community posts.
They already have access to all your information.
Say, you
like, what are you
signed away.
talking about?
You signed away
Did you
every
read
right
the
to
terms
data
of
you've ever
service? Yeah, did you read the terms of service? They're-
Sending this to China.
all of this is getting sent to China. China's got all of it.
I've ever made in the 13 years that I've been on YouTube was the whole thing of why are you giving people access to my data anyway? Why? And I think another version of this should be, why is it that I need to register and connect to your server and do all of this stuff in order to replace the brake pads in my car? And this, trust me, this is not something that only affects electric vehicles. Like, we're not talking about some sort of recalibration of the PID loop or something that's going to be necessary for changing the way that the motor functions with regenerative braking. We're talking about just the good old fashioned press the brake, squeeze his wheel. That's it.
We're not talking about
Everything that
that.
they're doing here to stop the car from working could also stop an internal combustion engine car from working, because many internal combustion engine cars have it's a smartphone. It's a smartphone with gas and smoke that comes out the back of it. But it's still, at the end of the day, a smartphone on wheels. I wouldn't even have a problem with the fact that the car is a smartphone on wheels. What I have a problem with is the fact that you chose to design it in a way that makes it so that a normal, average, everyday person needs to spend an additional $2,000 on all these connectors and software to be able to do something that for the last 100 years we have done without software just fine. Either one or two things.
Because you kept buying the ship boxes.
Hold up. Even beyond that, though, right, is like what he doesn't understand is this is piecemealed together. Right? This is not something where the manufacturer's coming in and putting all this together and making it work. They're buying components to make the car, right? They're basically like buying these plug and play devices. They're putting it in the car. And so a lot of this has to do with the person or the organization who's manufacturing those core components. And what is their communication protocol, and how does it connect to the rest of the network? And some of that data is not available for those modules, or how it does what it does, and they don't share that, saying it's proprietary information, right? Like, what do you say to the manufacturers? Well, start building your own stuff. Dude, that ship sailed. It's kind of like stop buying stuff from China, right? Like, everything comes from China. Everything comes from Mexico. Like, I'm serious. I made that video about parts, and it's like, dude, I can't. They're like, you should stop buying from Canada, Mexico, and China. It would really help. But Have you tried that? Have you like seriously tried that?
There was
not possible.
There was a viral video of a guy that bought a Maserati or had a Maserati or whatever, and he was like disassembling the car and was paying attention to the different components that the Maserati had that was being purchased from other manufacturers. For example, the key fob was a Volvo key fob. Like they just wrapped it over. They put the
100%.
Maserati like leather wrapping over the top of the Volvo key fob, and when you took the wrapping off, it said Volvo underneath.
Volvo.
Yeah, and like the mirrors were Volvo, and like the buttons were Mercedes, and just stuff like that. Well, these manufacturers are doing the same thing. They're buying the seats, the modules, or whatever.
Yeah,
it's the same freaking module and what a software protocol that's in the Ford Explorer as it is on the Chevy Traverse, right? It's the same thing. They're buying them both from whatever, Bosch, or like Bosch isn't gonna share the information with Chevy and for Ford. They're competitors. Like, so they're gonna say, "Oh, this is proprietary. Just plug it in, it'll work." Of course, they're gonna keep it to themselves. Like, why would they share the information?
100%.
And then also, like, you're also gonna give up the possibility they're gonna keep buying the stuff from you. Like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and open this up for you so you guys can see exactly what we do and how we do it.
Yep.
So you can
They're
start building it
protecting
yourself. Yeah, like of course they're gonna protect it. It makes sense. I don't know.
True. Either A,
I
you're
agree
completely
with
full of shit, or B, you're correct. You actually do need to have a special software tool run in order to have your car be safe after you've replaced the brakes. Something that has not been required from any other automaker for any vehicle made in the past 100 years. You suck as an automaker.
It's every
automaker.
single automobile.
Yeah, every single
Every
car
single
on the
one.
road requires this nonsense. Every single car. This is what I'm talking about. Like this guy makes fantastic videos. Fantastic videos. And I'm with him like almost all the way with this stuff here. He was completely out of his breath on this one.
Yeah,
Didn't have a clue what he was talking about.
He's
decided to make a video on it.
Yep.
Which is like, it's not like him. Normally he's like, hey, I'm going to do my due diligence. Because he's got a little bit of the tism, like it's just the way he operates.
Yeah,
completely out of his breath.
He's very similar to you. The difference is a little or a lot, right?
I have a different type of tism. I've got the tardation, is what I've got.
I win, tails you lose. This is, and the thing is, you're going to see every other automaker start to do stuff like this soon. And every single one of the automakers that's doing this, you're going to see them start paying for these stupid fucking ads that you see all over Washington, D.C., implying that Kim Jong-un is going to fucking jump out of the screen in the middle of your car like Samara from The Ring anytime that you try to fix your car as a result of these evil right to repair people that are really just there to.
I don't.
I think what they done.
I think that's more of the ND or the NADA. Who is supporting this anti-right to repair more so than even the manufacturers. I think the dealer associations are really putting as much weight behind this as they possibly can, because you think about it, like that's
the
who
dealers,
it really impacts.
Yeah,
the
dealers that are getting
manufacturer's like,
screwed.
hey, as long as somebody knows what they're doing, we don't care. Because we
just need the car fixed.
Right?
That's it.
We've talked to the engineers, we've talked to the people from the manufacturers, and what they're saying is like, hey, we just want the car fixed right. And we want to know the people who are fixing our cars are making sure they're doing a good job. They're qualified. They have the proper tooling and equipment. They know what they're doing. The dealers have a very different motivation behind this. They want this additional service work in their bays. And I am confident in saying that the manufacturers and the dealers are not necessarily on the same page. A lot of people believe they are. I don't think they're on the same page in all cases.
Well, did you remember the guy from Toyota at ETI when they were introducing their new diagnostic tool? Right. And they're like, hey, we want to give this thing away. Like, you guys should sign up and grab one of these and let us know how it works. And we want to make this as easy. Does it do what it's supposed to do? Give us feedback. We're going to try to make this as easy. We want these cars fixed as efficiently as possible. We want as many people as possible to be able to fix it. Or the lady from Volvo who told you. Wasn't it the lady from Volvo who told you, like, we've got to have people working on our cars?
I don't remember if it was Volvo or if it was Mercedes. I think it was Volvo, because I don't think Mercedes really cares. I can't honestly remember who that was. It's been a long time. But yeah, it was, the conversation was, is we recognize that if our cars can't be repaired. The consumer gets a bad taste in their mouth and they don't come back and buy another car. If it always has to come back to the dealer, that's a problem for us.
Yeah.
If they can't get their oil changed somewhere else. I mean, think about the number of cars that are getting the wrong oil put in them because it's impossible to find the right oil, right?
Yeah.
How many lube shops do you think are going and sourcing the right JLR oil for these Range Rovers? They're not.
No.
They're putting a random oil in. The dealers are putting a random oil in.
The
And so
dealers
they
don't care. Yeah.
Of course they don't care, but
They'll
I guess
get the
my
car
point
out of
is that,
get the car out of warranty. That's all that matters.
right. And
then
so
sell them a new
their
one.
whole perspective is sell the car, right?
Wonderful is they've actually managed to do this in a manner that would likely be in compliance with right to repair laws. They're making the tools available to do the job at a fair and reasonable price. Because they're taking, again, this is not just a tool for brakes. This tool, I imagine, is
The tooling is fair and reasonable for a repair shop that's doing $600,000+ in revenue. Like, yeah, you as an individual consumer that just is paying $1,500 a month for your shipbox Ionic or whatever. Like, yeah, that's maybe unreasonable for you. But again, they're not tailoring it to you. They're tailoring
used for other items because you also have to register to the same database that you would use, or whether it's for the same account that you would have to use if you were changing locks as a locksmith. So they've managed to bundle the braking tool in with all this other bullshit so that they could say that, well, you need to be able to log into the system for safety and security of locks and cars and everything, right? Technically, they're being right to repair compliant. They're making the tools available. They're making the parts available. They're doing everything that they're supposed to. They just so happen to go out of their way to design the car. So you need this. And it's very similar to what Apple has done with their own right to repair programs. They are making available the same parts and diagrams and everything they make available to their own authorized repair centers. I don't want to buy a motherboard for $500 or $600 because I don't need a motherboard for $500 or $600. I need the individual chip, which to this day, they still tell Intersil and every other company, don't sell to people like Lewis, don't sell to Mouser.com, don't let distributors sell to other people. I can't buy the stuff I actually need. I can buy the...
But again, he's still making the assumption that everybody knows what the hell they're doing.
Yep. 100%.
Like, he doesn't assume that everybody's a moron. Like, I'm not going to try to change that chip out. That's insane to me. I would just replace the entire motherboard
and be done with it.
Let me just buy the motherboard.
That's within my capabilities, right?
That's within my capabilities. I'll replace the motherboard, or I'll send it to him, and then he can find the chip and he can put the chip in and save me $1,000 or whatever. Like, but at the same time, it's almost like I've got this extremely like specialized skill, and therefore ... where what's 90% of repair shops going to do? They're going to throw a new motherboard in there. Why am I going to go out of my way to source this one little teeny tiny capacitor chip or whatever?
And then something else on the board fails.
And then something else on the board fails. And then you're coming back to me. Yes, absolutely. Then you're like coming back to me bitching about it. It's like, dude, some other part failed on this motherboard. I'm sorry. Nothing to do with me. I fixed the thing you wanted me to fix. It's like, get out of here.
I could buy
dude.
the entire screen assembly for $400 or $500 when all I need is the panel, which costs $38 to $72. Technically, they're making the same things available to me that they're making available to their own authorized repair centers because they have no incentive in their authorized repair centers fixing anything anyway. I got what I wanted. Yeah. Right to repair. Look, they have a self-service repair program. People will point to me all the time and say, Lewis, what are you complaining about? Why can't you do this type of repair economically? Why has your price gone up from where it was many years ago? Because I haven't gotten access to shit. And this is the thing that drives me nuts about how right to repair has gone. It's like, if it was just that we lost and we actually lost, I could kind of accept that. What drives me nuts is the fact that we've actually lost so much, yet it's done in a way where the manufacturer can make it seem like we won. Like we're just complaining over nothing.
There's some malicious compliance.
If that's the case,
agree with that.
From who?
I think there's malicious compliance across the board, right? It's like, hey, we'll comply, but right? I don't think it's for necessarily malicious reasons in all cases, but there is definitely a few instances where you're seeing them do things that make it extremely difficult to make these repairs, right? Access
other than
data.
Mercedes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just
How'd
Mercedes.
you know who I was talking about?
Yeah, it was just Mercedes. It's just Mercedes doing that. But you know what? If I were Mercedes, I'd be the exact same way. Because, like, I've got an uppity brand. Like, I don't want you touching
the Americans
my
aren't very
cars.
bright.
The Americans aren't very bright. Like, you can't understand our German engineering. Like, don't touch our cars. Like, yeah, we'll be compliant, but also $10,000 for this one piece of software. Like, get out of here.
10,000. My God, did it get cheaper?
Whatever.
Did they give you a coupon?
I don't know. Last time I checked, it was 10,000. It was like 15 years ago too, so I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Fine. I can accept that, even though I will fight against it till the day that I die. But what I will not accept are these advertisements everywhere claiming that this is not a problem whatsoever. These people just want, no, people are not trying to allow North Korea and Iran to hack your fucking data and destroy the American economy because they want right to repair. They want to not pay $2,000 to $6,000 to replace the brake pads on their fucking car. And I think it's very important that everybody who watches this video make sure that every single one of their congressional representatives and Senate representatives understand this innately, and make sure that it sticks in their head. I was listening to someone talk recently about SOPA, and he was talking about how he organized blackout. I figured it was a blackout a bunch of these websites, or just had a bunch of these websites have a banner on it, and he was able to get like something like 10,000 emails a day to a bunch of different Congress people, and how that managed to really turn the tide against the Stop Online Piracy Act back 13 years ago. And we really need something like that here, or else we are going to live in a world where this is actually legal. I don't think you should need to have to connect to the manufacturer's servers in order to change the brakes in your car. You need the brakes in your car in order to have a car. And if you need to connect to the manufacturer's server in order to be able to hit the brakes in your car, what happens if they turn off that server like every other fucking manufacturer does? What if they do what Google did? Or what if they do what Future Home did, where they say...
Yeah, absolutely. It's planned obsolescence. You know what you do? Don't buy that car. Don't buy that car.
It's the only way to stop that, right?
This is the only way you're stopping this nonsense is don't buy those shit boxes. Ask questions when you go to buy the car. Know what the hell it is that you're buying, and don't buy the shit box. That's what you do. If everybody's rolling around in 2009 Toyota Corollas, guess what? None of this nonsense would be around.
For sure.
Whose fault is it? It's your fault. The consumer's fault.
The way it shifted over the past, I would say, 5 years?
5 years in particular, it got really stupid.
Major difference. We never had conversations about, hey, I need this to access this. Hey, we need to get into the NASTF account to be able to do this, right? Like, hey, because I'm the NASTF account holder, so I have to be here to do all those things.
Yeah.
And so it's like now it's becoming a everyday thing. Right. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I just realized that I need to go into my NASTF account and renew something before the end of the year. So glad we're having this conversation right now.
It's gotten stupid over the last 5 years.
You know what? If you want this to work, we're going to bankrupt the old company, start a new company. You got to pay us $100 a year. What if they decide that they're just going to discontinue it altogether? You've had your car for 3 years, and we think that's enough. Don't be the person that sits there and does nothing. Don't be the person that says, I don't know how to figure out who my congressperson or senator is. Don't be the person that says, what is a senator? Don't be the person that says, what do I say? And then just gives up.
See, at the end of the day, he's still from New York. And so his solution is go to the government and be like, hey, government, fix this. We, however, are advocating for something else. Vote with your dollar. Stop buying these pieces of shit. And don't buy the car.
I do think that there is. I've talked to some people. A good friend of mine works for GM, and you know, he was sharing with me some of the things that he knows through some of the committees and things that he's on about, especially like the water system in China, because they know for a fact that China had hacked some of the water systems. And there were certain really weird little towns in the middle of nowhere that they had hacked. And it was interesting because what they did when they hacked those little towns is they were getting brand new water systems. And so they wanted the access to that data. They wanted to go somewhere that nobody would be looking to see if somebody was in it. They didn't want to go into the big cities. They didn't want to go where there were more protections in place. They wanted to start collecting data and see how things worked, right? Okay. And we were talking about how if they really wanted to, because those systems are all controlled by a computer, they could change the dosing of the chemicals just like that. And they've started working on putting some protections in place, but they could seriously injure or kill American citizens through the water system. And it does make you say, like, why else would they be looking at that? Why would they be looking at the water system? Why would it even matter to them? Yeah. And so there are a lot of very powerful, very intelligent people on this who say that there is a threat to national security through these things. Is an automobile going to be what does it? No, I don't think so.
If you're watching this channel and you've been watching for this long, you know exactly what the fuck you think about all of this. You know exactly how to write your thoughts down. Don't stop because you believe that you need to get an email or an answer from me or somebody else on YouTube, or I don't have. No, do it while you're watching this video. in the time that you have saved by installing uBlock Origin and not watching an ad before watching this video, simply those 30 seconds of your life that you've saved, if you've ever listened to my advice on installing AdBlock, you can use that to Google who your senator and congressperson is and say, support right to repair legislation for motor vehicles, so that this is not the future we live in.
I don't disagree with you.
Wait to ask a question.
I think that we need to be supporting right to repair. I think we need to be behind it. I think we need to be talking about it. I don't disagree with that. I just disagree with the logic of how he got there from that conversation.
I don't know that I agree with the whole ad block thing. Like, just pay for YouTube Premium.
That's what I do. Is it that bad?
What's that? I can't stand watching the ads.
No, I can't watch the ads. I'm saying, is buying YouTube Premium that bad? I mean, it's
$20 a month. Here's the thing. Like, it costs money to host these billions of videos that they're putting up.
Yeah.
And so, like, and they're then also paying the content creators. And are they shortchanging the content creators? Yeah, I mean, maybe they're not paying that much. Okay, fine.
We got a whole 15 cents this month. We got rich.
But and so you're not compensating the content creators, but like, what is it, like 99% of the content that gets put up nobody watches anyway, but they're still hosting the content. So you're blocking the ads. That's how they're making the money. I don't know. That just seems kind of skeezy to me.
I get like 30 views a month on my personal YouTube channel, so it's like, I feel it. It's okay.
And
I feel like
here's
that
the
was
thing.
a little bit of a slight.
It'd be different. Like, I have a problem with like Netflix if they were starting to run ads, because I'm paying for the subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of a sudden YouTube Premium's like, hey, it's YouTube Premium, so limiting ads, okay, now that's a big fuck you. No, hell no. That's what I'm paying for. I'm paying to avoid the ads. So if you're going to start running
which
ads,
car manufacturer started running ads recently on their in-dash navigation and
I would lose my mind if they
somebody started running ads the other day. I saw a post.
Oh, if they started running ads in my car, I would lose it. I would take a hammer and start smashing the shit out of that dashboard, and I would run that car right off a ditch.
Speaking of ads, I just want you to know I really like that hoodie. It's very comfortable. Like, I've got my own, right?
Why aren't you wearing it?
Well, because it's actually kind of warm here today, and so
it is cold. It is crazy cold. So it's coming for you. I'm just telling you, you're about to get slammed with snow.
Yeah,
in about 2 days.
I told you about coming back from Vegas, and it was like -5. I'm like, this sucks. And then I went to Orlando, and I come back, and it's like, it's not as bad. It's still cold though. Still sucks.
Here's the thing. As these repairs get more and more complicated, it's going to become. You saw that they wanted user ID information, logging information, so they could hold whoever's touching the car accountable, right? How much more important is it going to be to ensure that you are taking proper notes and that you are properly documenting through the repair process?
You don't know how many times it saved me. You don't know how many times it saved me.
So what's that going to require? That's going to require that you slow down the whole repair process.
Slow down the whole repair process. Have people who are able to read and understand what it is that they're reading. Have people that are able to write.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying.
I'm okay with you not being able to write, because I can hook you up to Grammarly, and we can use AI to sort of clean up your.
Shop-Ware's getting AI notes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the AI plus Grammarly, it'll clean up your notes, but it's almost like, dude, we're gonna have to start giving these guys like meta glasses. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna have to record through the repair process, and hey, we threw away the bolts and we replaced them with fresh ones, and hey, we torqued the bolts to spec, and hey, we actually ran through the calibration process. And that, hey, it's not going to be enough to take pictures, as we're going to have to start uploading video into the notes section just to make sure that we've documented absolutely everything. So when the car does kill somebody, we're not the ones held liable, and that they can go after Hyundai and not us, because hey, we did what we were supposed to do, Hyundai.
We did
This is
what
you.
you said to do. You know, I think it's funny, and not in the big channel so much, right? But in like my little personal channel, I get way more. My Facebook does not, my TikTok does not, but my personal YouTube gets way more consumers than our big channel does, right? And they're like, oh my God, the cost to repair cars is astronomical. I can't believe what you guys charge to repair cars now. And it's like, hey, you think this is bad right now? You just wait and see.
You have no
Right?
idea.
We're headed to $250, $300, maybe $400, $500 an hour to fix a car. And people say, that's asinine. That's crazy. I'm telling you, if we keep going down the path we're going right now, that's where we're headed. And it's a two-part thing, right? Because the cost of the technology to maintain the automobiles and to repair the automobiles is going up. The complexity of the automobile is going up. The requirements from the manufacturer is going up. The insurance requirements are going up, right? Things are getting more compressed and condensed, and it's moving at a much faster pace than it ever has before. But then on top of that, you have the supply and demand issue. We don't have enough qualified people that are able to do this. We have plenty of mechanics. We have plenty of technicians. I am tired of this technician shortage verbiage. There are plenty of technicians. There's not enough technicians to service the modern automobile. The automobile outran the technicians. I'll never forget. I've told you this before. Ian Levy is easily one of the greatest European automobile instructors in the world. The dude just knows his stuff. He's a passionate instructor. He's on point. He knows what he's talking about, and he can demand the class like nobody's business, right? He can be up there. It is the most commanding experience to sit in one of his classes. And I will never forget. We're in this class. Dude's teaching an engine class. Not Ian. He's watching this instructor, and he's teaching this engine class, and Ian's watching him kind of lose the crowd. And Ian pulls this big cardboard box up, and he like slams it down on the table. And I mean, people jumped because it was so loud and they weren't expecting it. They were half asleep, looking down, playing on their phones, right? And he begins to talk about the Mercedes-Benz multi-beam and how FlexRay plays into that. And when we talk about a headlight that can see the retina of a human being's eye going down the road opposing 100-mile-an-hour speeds, like, we're not just talking about the fact that technology is really cool. We're talking about the fact that we must process a massive amount of data across a camera extremely quickly to be able to make the adjustments that are required because of that. And so the network has to be much faster than what we're used to seeing compared to what we saw 10 years ago. It's a completely different world. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is because in the back of the class, there were about 5 or 6 technicians, and they started shutting their books. And Ian noticed that, and he said, whoa, what's up, guys? Like, did I do something to offend you? And they said, no, because if this is where the industry is going, we don't want anything to do with this. I've learned as much as I want to learn. I've put all these years into this. I'm tired. And it's already getting really hard to fix cars right now. And it's like I have to deal with all these issues, and they come back and they have all of these problems. And now you're telling me we're going to do this? I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to walk away. I'll go find something else to do. I'll work at Walmart.
Dude, how many times have we seen shop owners complaining that they are trying to implement new software, like, hey, we're going to cloud-based, we're introducing Shop-Ware, and we're introducing DVI.
And technicians
I can't get my guys to buy in. What in the hell? Like, they're just not good with technology. They're not good with a
bro. Do you see the cars they're working on?
Yeah, that like you're trusting somebody that can't like hit a couple of buttons on a smartphone, a couple of buttons on the smartphone, and be able to take some pictures. Like as simple as it gets. Like
I've got some good friends who are technicians, and they call and they ask for technical advice on like basic, how do I turn my computer on kind of stuff. And I'm like sitting here going, it instantly.
Why are you trusting them to work on a car if they can't take a picture with a smartphone? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep, 100%. I think that this highlights this is only the beginning of something much bigger and much more complex that we're going to see in this automotive industry over the next 10 years. And I think that in 10 years, we won't even recognize this industry compared to what it is right now. And I say that because in the last 5 years, it's changed so much. I was listening to Mary Barra speak one time, and she said in the next 10 years, we'll see more changes in the automotive space than we have in the past 100. And then later, she released a press release. She came out and she said, actually, we surpassed that in 2 years. we'll see even more changes in the next 2 years than we've seen to date.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's going to be a different industry.
You got to adapt.
Amen.